Welcome everybody. In this episode we'll be staying on Broad Farm Holiday Park within the Norfolk Broads. We'll explore the campsite and then we'll get out and explore the local area. Bongo Bear's back, people. He's living the dream. I'm on a campsite called Broad Farm, maybe? I don't know, it'll be written down in the bottom. And yeah, no electric. I'm in the no electric field, and it's pretty good because there's only 3 of us here in the field, and they're a long way away from me, so winner, winner. That's just what we like. So this is a good campsite for me because it's 15 quid and there is a swimming pool. Now they actually charge per person, not per pitch. So if there's 2 of you, it's going to be 30 quid. Because it's just me, it's 15, and that's a grass pitch, no electric. They do have electric pitches. I think they might have statics. This is quite a big site. There's a swimming pool and a sports bar. Now I think there's a number of toilet blocks. So we'll go and look at the one that is for this field. I've seen plenty of bin points. They look like good bins. The swimming pool looked nice. Now there was a woman sunbathing by that when I drove past, so I'm probably not going to be able to film that. I'm not going to go in the pool. I washed my hair the other day and I don't really want loads of chlorine and child urine in it, to be honest with you. I can hear kids in the background and music, and I'm wondering why kids are in the background, because they kind of should be at school. We're within school hours now. But there's definitely a lot of pitches here, and there's a lot of electrical hookup pitches, and there's a lot of what I believe are probably what they call the seasonal pitches. Well, that's the bins just for this field. 1 of each size, covering everything, recycle, general waste. There's only 3 of us in this field, so more than sufficient. I like the showers. They remind me of stables. You kind of have to step up to get in them. Plenty of cubicles. Couple of urinals. 10 cubicles. I mean, it is a big site, but there's more of these scattered about. Yep, kids park. Nice bar. Nice area to set aside. Very good. That's the swimming pool there, but we can't go in there because there are kids in there. Let's crack on with the people. Let's start living the dream. We ain't got time to sit around all day on a site. So there is a little path, but it's very narrow. It's on a busy road, so it's not great, but it works. So 5-minute walk from the campsite, and you've got Filby Broad there, and then behind me here is the path to Ormsbury Broad. So this is Filby Broad. Hopefully you can hear me because it's very windy here. Obviously there's only a small little bit of a boardwalk to walk across, and as far as I know this is the only part you can actually get near the Broad, so it's a little bit disappointing. but we have got Ormsby Broad just the other side of the road, so we will go and check that out. But you can still come here and fish off of here, people do. So yeah, don't expect much from a walk along the Broads at this point. But the other side of the road, there is a bit more of a walk down to Ormsby Broad. That is a bit of a bigger walk than this. Obviously the Broad is literally right by the road. But yeah. So it's Ormsby Little Broad, because there is another Broad further down, which we're going to try and get to later, which is Ormsby Big Broad. So that was Ormsby Little Broad. Now there were other people there, so I kind of left them to it. They don't want to be harassed when they're just trying to bird watch. So now I'm going to try and head to the other two Broads, which I don't know. I think I can get to on foot. I think they're just down country lanes, but they're a little bit away. So we'll see anyway. That'll be Ormsby Big Broad, and then a Broad that begins with R written down there. So there is like a Philby restaurant behind me, which I've never come across before. And you can sit right out by the Broad. So I've never actually been here and seen this part of the Broad before. Yeah, pretty good view, and you can rent a boat for fishing. So yeah, all good if that's the sort of thing you're into. So I'm now trying to walk to Ormsby, and that's proven to be a bit of a pain, because although I'm going down a narrow country line, there seems to be loads of traffic on it, and I'm constantly having to get off and climb up the verge. So yeah, bit of a nuisance. And I'm hoping when I get there I can actually get to the other Broads, and this hasn't just been a wasted walk. But I guess we'll find out shortly. So you can walk it to these two other Broads. I have managed, but you know what, it ain't worth it. It's a horrible walk. It's all along roadsides, heavy traffic, and I haven't enjoyed any of it. There is a car park right just there where I am. You're better off to just drive here. You can push bike, but yeah, the first two, they were right by the campsite. They're great, but these last two, nah, I wouldn't recommend walking it. It's just not fun. Well, it looks like I did get back just in time, because it is now starting to slightly rain, only slightly spit, nothing too dramatic. The seasonal pictures, they've perked up a lot, but yeah, it's Friday, so people are down for the weekend, so I'll be gone tomorrow, so they won't bother me too much, hopefully. So I stopped off at the shop on the way back. I needed to get some food for tea. Might be a bit of a tricky night tonight, because the gas from last time was very low, and the only other canister I've had this with me for probably getting on 8 years, and I scratched faulty into it. I think it would only release the gas very slowly, so So I've got some ground beef anyway. I had beef just in case I can't cook it, at least if it's half cooked it won't be too bad. Although, like an idiot, I bought the one that's a day out of date because it was cheap, and if I'm going to possibly have to eat this half raw, I should really have got the one in date. But never mind. So I bought a cabbage anyway. The mushrooms, they do look a bit too past it now. They might be going in the bin. And then we have a broccoli sprout stalk. That'll go in. And a courgette. And if that comes out horrendous, we have a few whiskies first. And that'll all be better. So when I was at the shop, I actually bumped into a couple of mates. Bit of a reminder that I'm not that far from home. Yeah, they said they'd subscribe. You better be watching, Teresa and Carl. There will be a quiz next time I see you to check whether or not you've been watching. So there is also a water sports centre just outside, pretty much just outside the campsite, for anyone who's into that sort of thing. I'm not overly keen on people peeing on me, to be fair. Maybe it's just me, but it's not for me. Well, the beef is definitely sort of on its last legs. There is a bit of a smell to it, kind of vinegary smell. So I'm not going to risk it by putting any more of them mushrooms in. I'm not going to have any of them added to it. I'm just going to add some cabbage. There's no point making it too out of date and all. But I'm sure it'll be fine. Bongo Ben's got guts of steel. Bongo Ben's poor. He eats crap like this that's bad and out of date all the time. So I know the picture's a bit dark now because it's very dark outside. It's not late. It's just really, really miserable. So the meat smells a little bit bad. I know I have had a pick at it and it does taste a little bit off. Plenty of seasoning though, and it's all going to go down well, people. Cheers. Well, yeah, the weather is definitely a bit wet and a bit miserable now. Yeah. Cheers. Morning, everyone. I slept okay last night, pretty well. I'm going to pack up in a minute and head off. I was going to go for a walk, but I don't know if I'll bother now because I've got the chub rub a bit on my legs and the weather looks bad. So obviously this is the kind of site I'm sure a lot of people turn up to just sit around all day. And you know, it does have stuff you can do. There is a bar, there is a pool. Families can spend a day on this site, no problem, you know. So yeah, it's good for that, you know. A couple of Broads nearby. Not that far from the beach. I think only a couple of miles to Caister Beach. So, you know, if you're going out in your car, you could easily bike it. You can bike to the beach. There's a nice little zoo nearby, actually. It's one of my favourite zoos, Frigby Hall. I mean, it's only a small little zoo, Frigby Hall, but I really like it. I think it's a lovely little zoo. I'm not going to go there on this trip because I've already been this year. So I'm going to pack up in a minute and head off. It's looking like a dull, miserable day. No point hanging around. Now in the village you've got two villages either side of us. There's a pub in each of them, and there is a shop in Philby. There's a bus stop outside here. I assume that takes you to Yarmouth or maybe Caister. So you can get to the beach from here on a push bike easily enough. It's not that far. Obviously if you're going out in your car, you can pretty much explore anywhere you want in Norfolk if you're taking a vehicle anywhere. Push bike, you can probably push bike to every Norfolk Broad from here, I would think. You probably have to do some main road cycling though. So I would return here if I was driving past and needed to stop for somewhere for the night. There's no reason I wouldn't stay here again. So I went for a walk last night. I couldn't really film nothing, it was too dark, it was raining most of the time. There is a little pathway that goes all the way through the campsite, and I followed it down, and you come out on some nice tracks in the countryside. And you know what, I think I'd have been happier if I did that last night, as opposed to have tried to get to Ormsby Big Broad, but never mind, it's what it is. So last night there was quite a bit of noise coming from the seasonal pictures, but that all stopped around 10:30. It just went quiet, just like that. So they do abide by the rules, obviously, although I don't know what the rules are, but it did just stop. So that was good, because before then I was thinking, no, it's getting a bit annoying. But yeah, so that was all good. But obviously it is a Friday, it is a weekend, there's no families here, there's, you know, a lot of people coming down. It's going to be busy, and there's, you know, there's going to be stuff going on. Unfortunately for Bongo Ben, other people are ruining it. But nah, that's been fine. I'm going to pack up and head off in a minute anyway, before everyone else arrives for Saturday. So all good, people. Carry on living the dream.